This was an assignment whereby the kids were asked to think of a nostalgic time in their life. And these kids are 15, 16, 17, so nostalgia to them is very different than nostalgia to someone who is, say, 90. So they thought of a moment that was nostalgic to them, even if it was something that happened 5 or 6 years ago. And nostalgia works the same way, even though the length of time is different. So they did that. They had no idea what we were about to do after that. I then told them that they had to tell the same story, except they had to tell it as if they were 90 years old. I told them they couldn't stereotype elderly people. This was a real acting lesson. But they still had to tell the same exact story, but maybe change things because of cell phones and time periods and so forth. And then they got up, and what you see is what they did.
I remember a time my grandfather used to take me out to the park every day in the summer. Some of the happiest moments of my life. I didn't have any cell phones or internet. There was no YouTube. It was just me enjoying nature and the joys given to me from life. I remember every day he would take me out of his house. We'd walk by a few stores and markets. And we'd go approach a street. I had to watch out for many cars passing by. I remember crossing the street just thinking about how polluted everything was from all the factories and the smoke. But it didn't ruin the fun I had later in the day. I enjoyed going to the park with my grandfather. Every day he would just make me smile, and I didn't really care about what he was doing because I was just a 3-year-old and I was just kind of selfish, doing whatever I want. But now, I guess I am my grandfather now. I'm old, but I'm wise. I think I can look back on those moments and see how I really changed. But now, I guess I'll have to do the same for my grandkids.
I remember when I was 8 years old and my mom and my dad picked us up from our little Cranston house in Rhode Island and brought us up here to New Hampshire, where I've been ever since. I was young and I don't remember too much, but there is a sense of nostalgia that I carry with me when I think of that memory. And I remember walking into this big, old elementary school lined with boots of the children who worked and played and learned in the school. And I remember the snowflakes that hung on the wall as decoration above the boots. And I remember the sense and the smell of cleaning supplies and Elmer's glue. Just such a strong, strong smell. And I remember going into my classroom and meeting my teacher, who I loved so, so much. She was a bigger woman and she'd hug me like there's no tomorrow, hug me so tight. And I remember sitting down at the desk with my soon-to-be best friend. And I remember learning, and I remember being young, and I remember the first snowfall. My best friend, Georgia, she'd never seen snow before. She was from North Carolina. My teacher, Miss Grady, promised when the first snow came, we could all go outside and play. And we did. Right during the old standardized testing. And I remember that day, and I think about 3rd grade. It might sound silly, but I think about it a lot. One of the best experiences and years of my life was in 3rd grade. That's something that I'll miss.
11 when my father died. And I was young. I had the whole rest of my life ahead of me. I mean, look at me now. I've obviously come very far since then. So there's not much that I remember now since my memory is going. But I remember, there's little things I remember. I have lived in the same town all of my life, and I go to the same hospital to get my treatments because in my elderly age I have become sicker. I go to this hospital for my treatments, and this was the same hospital where he stayed. And there's this window up on the 3rd floor. And sometimes when I'm in the parking lot and I'm getting ready to go in, I look up and I remember that feeling of sadness and apprehension and just waiting. I remember being little, and I remember the hallway outside his room. It was long and wide, and that window was on the end. I have a very vivid memory of my mother standing there, and she was talking to someone. I can't remember who. And looking up at that window now, I'm just taken back to that day. But there's also good things I remember. Lessons I've learned from him that I've taken with me over the years. To be family-oriented, and to be kind, and to just appreciate life because it does go fast, and my life has gone fast. I'm seeing the beauty in things now more than ever because I know that I must be getting near to the end of my time. And I think that he might have felt the same way all those years ago.
That's okay, take your time.
Now, young man in the back, what was your question about nostalgia?
I wanted to know, yes, a little bit about nostalgia, something that you remember from your past that makes you nostalgic for the past.
Right. I think, picture the perfect kind of spring day. Kind of orangey, just very bright outside, perfect weather. That's what it was like when I went to play baseball with my dad outside in my front yard. This must have been 70, 75 years ago. It was about 6. I would always pick, my bat was yellow, big and yellow and plastic, and my dad would always have a case of tennis balls that we would use in place of baseballs. And I remember every single time I would hit a home run, which was about 10 feet ahead of me into my neighbor's yard. The look on my father's face of just pride and excitement of my hit was just kind of everything to me. And I would run around the bases. I felt as fast as a bullet. I wish I was that fast today. But yeah, it was a great time. Like, I think I'm nostalgic about it because after that, not soon after that, my father got laid off, and my childhood kind of ended because I didn't really have a father anymore. He had to get a job out of state. Yeah, definitely one of my happiest memories. I never felt so happy when I was playing baseball with him. But yeah, I think that was my moment. That's a nostalgic moment.
These aren't easy to do. they're easy to overdo. They're not easy to do well. You did really well. Thank you for doing that.